Hi, families. I wanted to talk to you today about kids. You know, some of you I'm talking to have your own children. Some of you help care for your grandchildren. Some of you just have other kids, maybe relatives or neighborhood kids that you've taken a special interest in. But I think you realize that God has given us a great treasure when He's given us the opportunity to raise children. Not just a great treasure, but it's a huge responsibility that we'll answer to God for someday. And it's a great responsibility because there are so many negative, ungodly, evil messages being thrown at our kids today that it is so important we do all we can to try to prepare them for that, to counteract that. And that's why here at First Baptist, we have been wanting to restart Sunday school for quite some time. In fact, if I can just be honest with you, I am regretting that we didn't start it way back in the summer. But here we are, and we have made plans to start Sunday school all over again this Sunday, December 6th. However, you're probably thinking, this is maybe the worst time to start Sunday school again. And believe me, it's been weighing heavy on my mind, and that's why I want to talk to you today. Now, some of you maybe didn't have the habit of coming to Sunday school or bringing your kids. Please listen in. I want to encourage you to just listen to this quick bit of information I have for you, and just to consider the potential of making Sunday school a new habit in your life. And those of you that have been in the habit of Sunday school in the past, just want to talk to you about the importance of keeping that up, and also talk about the safety issues that we're all concerned about. So 2 parts real quick. I want to talk to you about the spiritual issues that drive us to want to get Sunday school going again so badly. And then number 2, those practical safety issues. And but let's start with the spiritual for just a minute, and I hope you can see the screen there. But I want to talk to you first of all about the importance of teaching our children God's truths. Now, you guys at home hopefully are doing that. You hopefully model God's truth, and you spend some time one way or another talking about things of God, teaching about things of God. The great thing that Sunday school does is Sunday school has a curriculum, has a plan, has a structure that will systematically go through and lay a biblical foundation that your kids will take into the rest of their lives. And I just want you to be, consider if this isn't something that would be good to add into your children's lives, to make sure they're getting all they can. You know, our kids are looking at screens so much. Some of our kids in this church go to Christian school, and some go to public school. And in public school, they get taught the ABCs and the mathematics, but sadly, secular education is always going to come from a secular viewpoint. And it's so important that we are providing plenty of opportunities for our children to be taught God's truth, to counteract and to give them a foundation to speak against those messages that the YouTuber is giving them, or their social media is giving them, or their favorite TV shows or movies are putting in their heads, or their secular education might be putting in their heads. It's scary if we think about how many hours every week ungodly voices speak to us and to our kids. And parents, do you realize how much time your kids are spending watching and listening to those voices without you having any part of it? I see my kids walking around with earbuds in, and I try to stay in touch with what my kids are listening to, but who knows? And what they're watching when they're in their room, on their phone or on their computer. There's so much coming at them. We need to make sure we provide every opportunity for God's truth to be spoke to them. So there's the importance of teaching. The second thing is there's the importance of relationships. Sunday school gives the opportunity for our kids to have relationships with other Christian kids, but also with other godly adults. It's so important that we are exposing our kids, not just to our parenting, but to other godly adults to make relationships with. And the third word, so the first word teaching, the second word relationships, the third word I want you to think about is rituals. Rituals. You know, we all have rituals in our life. You don't think of them that way. Ritual kind of sounds more religious, doesn't it? But really, we all have some kinds of rituals. You have a ritual every morning. I have a ritual every morning. And we have rituals with our families. And if you just stop for a minute, you look at the things you've repeated over and over in your schedule in the last month. Those are rituals that we have. And they are important. Because here's a truth. The routines that we do as a family right now are programming into our kids what is normal. Forever, they're going to go through life and they're going to look at home life and the schedules at home as normal, as the baseline. Now, they're going to grow up and they're going to say, well, some of those things we did as a family were a little weird, or I don't want to do that, or I want to make sure I do that. I want to teach that to my kids. And so I want to ask you, what rituals are you programming into your kids that are going to keep them close to God? Are you as dedicated to teaching them biblical rituals, like having devotions, or going to church, or going to Sunday school? Do you know it's very unlikely that your kids will be more committed to God than you are? And imagine that repeated generation to generation to generation. It's very important we make church as God has commanded it, religious instruction, setting God's things as highest in our schedule. It's really important we do that as parents. And so we as a church want to make sure we are providing the opportunities, all the opportunities we can to you as a family, but it's up to you to make that choice to make them rituals that you cause to be important in your life. So those are kind of three key words as to why I and the Sunday school teachers are so burdened to get going on Sunday school again. But we know there's a lot of safety concerns. And let me just tell you, we've been thinking and talking about them a lot. And sometimes safety concerns weigh against these spiritual concerns. And we kind of have to balance that out. And so let me tell you what we're doing in that regard. So regarding safety concerns, first of all, we decided to look at schools as a good gauge regarding the safety of having kids in Sunday school. It occurred to me a while back, you know, we're worried about whether it's safe to be in Sunday school, but the kids are going to school. Montgomery Area School District has been having a hybrid model, so the kids are only there 2 days a week, and the rest of the time they're online, virtually. Warrior Run has been, we're in person. They decided to extend their Thanksgiving because of some COVID cases that cropped up in their staff and students. And so they added an extra day of vacation, and then they decided to do the rest of this week as virtual. And they're hoping to restart on Monday, and I'll be checking their website to see if they've given any update on that. But their plan is that on the Monday after we want to start Sunday school, they're going to be back in the classroom. And then Meadowbrook Christian School, where several of our children go from our church, they did the same thing as Warrior Run. They decided, because of a couple COVID cases that popped up in the school and in the staff over Thanksgiving break, and people quarantining, it was better just to do it virtual this week. Their plan is to restart on Monday. So we're going to keep an eye on what the schools are doing, and if 2 of those 3 schools choose not to have in-person classes for safety concerns, my plan is that we will postpone Sunday school also. So we're going to keep an eye on what the schools are doing to give us a little bit of a gauge on where to go. So right now, the plan is December 6th, 9:30 Sunday morning, to have Sunday school downstairs in the church for the kids like we always did before. And so in keeping that safe, 2 more things. First of all, screening. We need you as parents to be wise and to not bring your children if they should be quarantining, if they have any symptoms. The nasty thing about the coronavirus is that you are contagious, and some would say most contagious, 2 days and possibly even 3 days before you get symptoms. Now, keep that in mind and then put it together with this fact. When you are in contact, if you've been exposed to coronavirus and you've been infected, it's usually 4 to 7 days before you show symptoms from the time you came in contact with coronavirus. So 4 to 7 days. Most people, or rather the average is 5 days. 5 days from exposure is when symptoms show. But you've been contagious for the last 2, maybe even 3 days. So that's why it's so important for you to be honest about exposure and say, you know what, maybe this week we should stay home. That's especially true if the exposure is within your household. If anybody in the house is showing symptoms of being sick, please stay home. And so kind of self-screen and make sure everybody at home is healthy before you bring the kids to Sunday school. And then we are going to be taking temperatures at the door, just like is happening at school and probably any activity you go to or any doctor's visit you go to. We're just going to, during the Sunday school, we'll just be taking temperatures, the no contact temperature reader, thermometers, when you come to Sunday school this Sunday. And then finally, masks. Yeah, I don't like wearing them either, and I was probably, it took me a long time to be convinced we should be wearing masks, but the fact is we need to. And so we're going to ask that the kids are wearing them the whole time during Sunday school. Wear them when they come in, wear them in the classroom, and the teachers also, and adults. And so we can just help protect each other in that regard to reduce the risk of it being spread were someone contagious and they didn't know it. So just wanted to make a quick video to explain all that to you and encourage you to watch your email. If we have to cancel, we'll be sure to get a message right out. But Lord willing, we're planning on starting Sunday school this Sunday and hope to get to see you and your family here. And let me just add one more thing. We will not be starting Children's Church quite yet. So you may be thinking, wow, I come to Sunday school, but I'm not sure if my kids are going to make it through the Sunday morning service. And let me just say 2 things in regard to that. Number 1, we understand wiggles and a little bit of noises, and that's fine. Give it a shot. Try to train your kids to get comfortable sitting in the pew during the service. But if you don't think that's going to work out, and you don't feel comfortable with that, it would be better for you to come to Sunday school and then go back home and watch the service online than not to do any of the above. So keep that in mind. I understand if you need to do that, but we also are very understanding if there's kids making noise and being a little bit wiggly in the pews and having to go to the bathroom. No big deal. We love to see them in church. So hope to see you this Sunday. God bless.